Well, it is raining outside, and we just had the rest of the parts showed up here this morning for this trailer, this Aulick trailer. We've got some panels right there. We got 8 of them that we're gonna put on. The guys have got them taken off now. There's one of them, 2 of them, a couple of them over there, and we've got a new tarp that's gonna go on there too. There's the tarp in the bag right there. We've got the new end caps that are going to go on there. I didn't think I had them ordered, but the old ones ain't bad. And then we've got the new rubber stop hoops. Tim's got them all bolted into place. So we ended up taking a couple of links out of the chain here the other day, and we put a new 5th wheel plate on it. This stuff was all shipped together, but of course it didn't all come at once. So there's the old 5th wheel plate there. We've got the new one on there. We've got the panels to put on there. We had different panels that had injuries on them. So we're gonna get that on there, get them riveted into place, and then we're gonna put the tarp on it. We got a new catch plate here to go on the left-hand side. And then we just gotta stretch the tarp out here in a little while and get that up on the right hand side. It's a roll tarp that rolls from one side to the other. The boys are putting pickup teeth on the 100 baler. That was making a lot of noise in the baler video there. So they're working on that, and we're gonna get to finishing this thing up here today. Can't do anything else. It's raining right along outside, so. Alright, Norse and Sean have got the panels taken off. They've got them off the right hand side. We've got a panel ready to go back on. Tim has got his end caps on the back for the tarp. It's capped crowns a little bit to keep a little bit of curve to the canvas so the water will run off. Now we got some holes in this side. This is where Lon ended up running into the side of the trailer with the forklift. He backed down over the bank up by the hay barn up there, and he ended up hitting this left side of the trailer. That's what happened to all these panels here, and he's got this upright bent and that one. So I haven't made up my mind if I'm going to straighten that yet or not. I've got to pound that dent out of there, and I might just put a strip of flat stock on here and not worry about straightening that. Just making sure this is all kind of plumb straight with this here, and then just putting a strip on there to rivet to. So we've got our first panel on the other side ready to go on, and this is the ratty looking stuff that's underneath just these white panels. All these panels is just lightweight aluminum. They're just on there to dress it up, make it look good. So we're getting ready to put our first panel on now. Timmy's got his wind and handle latches on both sides, and Nate and I are getting ready to throw the very first piece on. Push it up a little bit right there. Alright, we've got one panel done on this side and 2 more to go. Not too bad. These panels are a little taller than the old one. It's about like an inch taller. So, but that's alright, as long as we get the bend in the center right, and then the lip at the bottom, we're good. The bend at the bottom is a little more abrupt too. There's like a 30-degree bend on the old ones and about a 45-degree bend on the new ones. So it's working now. So we gotta get this next sheet up on the sawhorses and pull the cellophane off of the panels. Alright, everybody's kind of left here for tonight. We're going to finish the other side and then putting the tarp on tomorrow. But we got this side done. We ended up putting 3 panels on this side here today. We put the saddle pieces for the tarp. This side will be the rigid side, or it'll be the side that holds the tarp down. And then you'll end up rolling the tarp from one side to the other, and this side will stay put. And when you roll the tarp over, it'll come over to this side. And those gray pieces on the side there, they'll end up folding up into place and latching the 1-inch conduit pipe down to keep the tarp secure on this right-hand side. And then when those pieces are up, when you roll the tarp over into the open position, it keeps the tarp from falling off this right hand side when you roll it up. So we've got the new saddles on there, the 3 pieces of white aluminum cosmetic crap on there. I've got some DOT tape, conspicuity tape to put on there yet, and then we've got 5 panels here to put on the other side. Tim, he's got his end caps on there. Got a new end cap on the back of the tailgate. This tailgate needs some reworking. It's rotted out a little bit, but we've got some work to do to that. He's got the front cap on up there. The lighting is kind of screwing with us a little bit here. And we've got 5 panels to put on this side here. I've got to do something with this upright. We kind of talked about that a little bit earlier here today. I've got to do something with this upright so that when this next piece goes on, the seam is going to be right here. And I've got to put something on there so that we can catch both of them seams. I've got some other options I can work with there. There's a piece where they worked it from the front to the back and they overlap these quite a bit right here. I can do some math on this and see if I can't maybe put the overlap in down here and then just secure to this rippled up upright. But I've got to think about that a little bit. We got a rippled upright there and one here. And this is from the forklift sliding down over a hill and running into the side of the trailer, and that's why we had to replace some panels on this side. So we've got that to work with. Got to clean up some holes here. I got to pull my light out from up there. We've got to cut the marker light bracket holes in there for the top one, and then the turn signal light down here when we go to put these panels on. We adjusted the chain last week, put a new 5th wheel plate on, and we've got to put the tarp on. We've got the catch plate on this side here to put on tomorrow and set the tarp up into place. We ended up putting new brakes all the way around last year and new airbags. So for the most part, this trailer looks a little ratty looking, but it's in decent shape, mechanically anyways, with a new tarp and some new cosmetic panels on there. It should look somewhat decent. I ended up putting $4,500 into this trailer this year, and we put a couple grand into it last year here. So we're gonna finish this up tomorrow. Alright, we got rained out. We were combining wheat. It just rained real hard here a little while ago, and now the sun is back out. But we're going to get on putting this tarp back together, or tarp rather. We're going to finish it. The tarp, that is, for the Aulick trailer. Here's the pipes here on the floor that go into the Sherlock rollover tarp. There's the tarp there. Alright, we're getting rained on again out there. We just got the pipes pushed into the tarp just in time here. The pipes join together and they've got, like a swagger end on them here. And just like this one here, they kind of pushed together. We pushed them together and then we welded them and ground the weld off so that the pipes wouldn't come apart. So now we're going to roll this tarp all onto itself, and then Tim's going to back the trailer in, and we're going to lift the tarp up onto the trailer here and get it fastened down. Alright, are we ready?
Are we gonna need Jen to hold that big one up once we get it up there?
Yeah, once we get it up there. So grab it and we'll walk up the ladders.
Oh, up on the go. Let the water out.
We gotta go that way with it.
Take the ladder that way. You can't move it. Take the ladder. Go off the back of the truck with it. There you go. So let him climb. Alright, I gotta make it
up another step.
I can't. Shit, fucking ladder. Alright, somebody jump on that fork.
The tarp line is just this side of the road. So we're gonna go that far.
Alright, easy where we're pushing it.
Now we gotta
How much farther do you gotta go?
get that tarp there, right on the back of that lip, on the header. Is that correct?
Yeah. Where are you guys at down there?
Like 2.5 feet.
2.5 feet that way?
Yeah, that's what we need up here.
Okay.
Be where it needs to be. Get that
Is
tarp
that good?
behind that lip. That'll be where we need to be.
Little
Don't worry
more?
about the pipe.
We're about,
Can you hold this a little bit?
Okay, hold the big pipe and let us have the little one.
we're about 4 inches off.
4 inches. But you gotta go this way. You gotta have it that way, 4 inches. All right, we're just dropping the driver's side down And then we've got to put in the rest of our locking plates on this right hand side. Alright folks, we've got the Aulick trailers all done. It's actually the following day here now, so I want to apologize for the adult language that was in the last segment here where I had a little incident with a ladder there. I don't have any injuries from that. I landed on my feet. I got lucky. I know far too well about injuries. I had a pretty good bad sprain here. I was like 3 years ago. I fell off of a manure tanker one time, did a combat roll, and about 2 weeks after that, I ended up falling off of a manure injector, and I injured my shin. I ran my shin down a piece of angle iron that stuck out about 4 inches, and I had such excruciating pain from running my frickin' shin down that I landed on the ground, and must be that slight injury from doing the combat roll off of the manure tanker, re-injured the my ankle, and that night when I got home, my leg had swollen up quite a bit, but my ankle was in worse shape than my shin, and it was purple, and it was purple for several days like that, and it wasn't getting any better after 3 or 4 days, and I ended up going to the emergency room and doing all that crap. I wish I never frickin' went. They said I had fractured it, went to a bone specialist, and he said that wasn't fractured, it was just a bad sprain. And you can see here in the pictures that, you know, it's pretty frickin' nasty looking. And they ended up putting a half cast on my ankle, and that limited my mobility. I didn't have any use of my ankle, so I couldn't drive truck. I couldn't load feed. I couldn't run the fuel pedal on the payloader, so I didn't end up feeding for a week, 10 days. I ended up just running chisel plow tractor and offset disc and whatever like that. I wasn't supposed to be putting any weight on it because they had said I fractured it. But I didn't end up fracturing. I was supposed to be walking with crutches, and I couldn't use crutches. I ended up using a cane, and it was just a real pain in the ass. But I had to deal with that for a week, 10 days, so I know far too well all about dumb injuries, and you know, we're not getting any younger and all that crap. But nothing happened last night. I lucked out. So we're gonna throw up another camera here, and we're just gonna circle around this trailer a little bit, and then we're gonna actually gonna get the drone out, and then we're gonna look at the bunk site. I'm actually right near the bunk now. We're putting up another bunk, putting it alongside the one we built last year, and most of the excavation is just about done for that. They've got to do they're going to pour the footers tomorrow, but we can get into all that when we start flying the drone. So I'm going to throw the drone up. We're going to circle around this trailer here a little bit. We'll look at the bunk site. We'll look at the other trailer, and then we will look at the barn that we're adding on to as well. So let me get the drone up, and we will rejoin you from the drone. So what we ended up doing in this trailer is we ended up replacing 5 panels on this left-hand side here. You can actually see them. They stand out a little bit brighter than the other panels. And then we ended up putting 3 panels on the other side here. We'll just get you flipped around there and give you a quick visual of this. But we only needed to do 3 panels on this side, and like I said, the 5 on the other side. You can just barely see them. That panel that has the light in it, it was the one behind that one, and then 3 in a row. This trailer here is a 2007. I bought it in 2012, and I bought it because I wanted something to use that would work good on grain and silage. It doesn't hold as much silage as the Moss trailer that I now have, but this was just a kind of a multi-purpose trailer that I felt that it fit things good at the time. It does have the aluminum hopper on the back, and you can dump into an auger, a blower, a pit, you know, a drive over pit and anything like that. There's controls on the side of it. You can actually slow the belt down to a crawl. You can slow that damn thing down enough to feed. The controls are all right on that back left hand corner. You can almost, let me move up here a little bit. They're right there. You've got the controls to lift the knife gate, and then it's got a hydraulic tailgate on it that kind of lifts up like our silage trucks do. That knife gate, that meters the flow of the material out the back of the trailer, and then the material drops down through that aluminum hopper. And I've unloaded corn into our harbor store silo. I've backed up to a blower, and it has worked just fine to do that. You can control the speed of the I'd already said it. You can control the speed of the belt right from the back of the trailer, and you can turn the belt on and off. Now, other than putting them new panels on the side of this and putting a new fifth wheel plate on it, we ended up taking some links out of the chain. I ended up having that in a earlier video, and I had also put a new tarp on it here. So with the new tarp came the new end caps. There's one on the rear and one on the front. So I'll roll this tarp out quick, and then we'll fly over the bunk and the barn. Just give me a second here, and I'll roll that tarp out quick. It's a Sherlock tarp, and then we ended up putting a new catch plate on this left-hand side as well. Okay, as you can see, pretty basic, just a basic tarp. The Sherco design where it locks under that catch plate. What had happened last year, it was actually, we were hauling wheat with it, and it come on, the handle on this left-hand side come unclipped, and what it ended up doing was the wind got underneath it, and it ended up wrecking it. So this trailer has the tapered sides. We'll just fly over to top of it here, and you know, it's got the tapered sides, and you can take out 3 of these bows, and there's 2 of them that stay in it, and you know, it's just not as handy for haylage as the other one. So we'll fly up and look at the other one now, and then once we get done looking at the Moss trailer, just to compare the two, we'll look at the bunk job. Alright, so we're at the Moss trailer now. Everybody's kind of seen this trailer, and you know, this is what is it, 8 foot shorter, but it's got straight sides to it so that it can hold, you know, it's going to hold a lot more. It's going to have a lot more capacity than what the Aulick trailer has. Everybody's kind of seen this trailer already. I thought I'd just fly over this one to do a little comparison of it compared to the Aulick. I can haul wheat with the Aulick and high moisture corn and grain and whatnot like that, but you'd have an awful hard time hauling that with this trailer to get it to dump into a pit or an auger or anything like that. There's just there's no metering of how fast you run that chain. You'd have to put a flow valve on there, and then this Moss trailer has this has got 2 chains in it, one on each side. They're about 40 inches in diameter. The Aulick trailer's got 1 chain in it, and that chain is 54 inches wide, and it's 8 foot wide at the top, so it's got, you know, tapered sides. Only holds about 70 yards, whereas this one holds 90. So let's run down and look at the bunk. Alright, so this is where we're going to be building the new bunk. We ended up putting this bunk in that is to our left here last year, and this other bunk here, they've got the trench already dug where the footers are going to be poured, and the footers are going to be poured here tomorrow. Now they ended up taking a lot of excavating this out and then moving what they needed to move. They had quite a bit of fill up against that wall, and it kind of tapered down. Then they ended up moving everything over to our right here, and then what they ended up doing was they ended up covering that side up with bunk plastic so as to not have that dirt wash back down into the area where the footers are going to be poured. We got hit with a pretty hard rainstorm yesterday, and it rained pretty good all night last night, so that plastic allowed the dirt to kind of stay put, and it didn't end up washing on them. They did have a little pocket right about there that we sucked out with the vac truck. There was a pretty good sized pond of water that got left there from all the rain that we got yesterday. Now this back wall here, the height of this back wall is going to be right at the height of the floor in these bunks that are in behind this one, and we're going to be able to drive over this back wall to cover the bunk, or, you know, fill the last little bit. I'm not too crazy about doing that because you have to have a lot of material in the back of that bunk when you drive that tractor or the side, or you're going to end up rubbing the bottom of the tractor on that cement wall. But it gives us that ability to do that, and it does make it easier to cover the bunk too. So that's all ready to be the footers to be poured tomorrow, and then sometime next week they'll come in and they'll pour the walls. So that's about enough of the bunk project. This is the view of the back wall area. Now they've dug this area away quite a bit so that the guys would have room to work to put the forms up between where the wall is going to be and where the dirt is. So once that wall is in on the back and on this this other side, which is the south side, then that'll all be filled back in, and we have room enough to put one more bunk alongside this one. It would be the same width. They're 70 foot wide. We've got another 70 foot between where that wall is going to be there and where the driveway ends up coming through right about there. So it's going to get into this corner a little bit, but it's going to work. So we'll let's fly over and look at the progress on the new barn. All right, now we're out at the site where we're adding on to what we call barn 8. This is barn 8 here, and barn 9 is on the other side of the hutches. We just numbered our barns from which the time we built them. So this was yeah, the 8th barn that we've done. So so we've got all the posts are in, the header plates are on, and they actually started putting up some of the tail rafters here today. They've got the all the LVLs on, and the spots where the wider spots in the barn here on this south side. They ended up putting the wing rafters on, and they're going to boogie down through that side here tomorrow. And I don't know what they're going to do next, if they're going to put this other side on and then put the center ones in after. I don't know what their exact plans are. So they just kind of go with their own plans. But that's the progress thus far on the barn edition. So just thought I'd throw that into this Aulick trailer rebuild video. And I'm actually parked over here on the other side of this barn at the end of barn 5 here. So I'm just gonna fly the drone over, I'm gonna land it, and that's gonna do it for this video, folks. I want to thank you for watching.